Like and subscribe right now, or you're going to have terrible luck for the next week. As a diverse ecosystem, the sea is no stranger to big creatures. In fact, a home to the planet's biggest animal ever, the mighty blue whale. But aside from this gigantic mammal, there are a handful of other big animals that call the sea their home. You've probably heard of sharks and whales, but did you know that there are giant octopuses that are 20 times the regular size? Keep watching to get all the scoop on this and other unusually big sea animals you've probably never thought of. Number 10. Portuguese Man of War. The Portuguese Man of War is actually not a single organism, but a collection of several, all working together for survival. As such, this fascinating creature is a colonial organism, comprising specialized smaller organisms called zooids. The zooids depend on each other for survival, and separation will mean ultimate death for them. And that's why they come together to give us this intriguing sea creature. Portuguese Man of Wars can be found in the Indian, Atlantic, and Pacific Oceans, where they have no defined way of moving, depending instead on water currents for their locomotion. For better propulsion, they have a gas-filled bladder, which ensures they remain afloat. But this is just one part of these creatures. The real deal, as far as the size is concerned, lies below the water surface, where the zooids come together to form several long tentacles, giving the animal an uncanny resemblance to a jellyfish. Most of these tentacles average about 10 meters before the surface, but there have been recorded instances of them being over 50 meters. And they serve more than just propping it up in the world of biggest sea creatures. The tentacles are used to deliver paralyzing stings to prey before the colony sets in to digest. Number 9. Whale shark. With the largest recorded specimen being over 18 meters, white sharks rule both in the seas and on land. They're the biggest fish species, while in the larger animal kingdom, they're the biggest non-mammalian vertebrae. That said, an average adult whale shark is about half the size at 9.8 meters long. Generally, it's hard to estimate the precise sizes of these beasts. Even the largest individual recorded was observed some time ago, but the specific details of the methods used to determine this length remain uncertain. One major thing that affects the accuracy of a whale shark's length is the tail. It could either be stretched, that's if the whale's on land, or it could be angled, which is the natural posture when this massive fish is out there in its natural habitat. Despite the size, whale sharks aren't as aggressive compared to the likes of white sharks. They're filter feeders, swimming with their mouths open most of the time to catch plankton and small fish. They can filter over 5,700 liters of water every hour. Whale sharks mainly frequent tropical and warm temperate seas, where the water temperature is well above 20 degrees Celsius. Number 8. Oarfish. An oarfish is not the kind of marine creature you see very often. That's for a reason. They tend to live deeper than most of the aquatic life you're used to. To see one, you have to venture at depths of between 200 and 1,000 meters in temperate and tropical oceans. All these depths, the waves are weaker than they are on the surface, which eliminates the need for any organism dwelling here to have strong muscles for swimming. That is to say, an oarfish is likely to die if it ever comes to the surface, although some have been captured in the past voluntarily swimming upwards toward the surface. But for a larger part, most of them are dead when discovered on the surface. Among the biggest sea creatures, they hold the record for the longest bony fish with one species, the giant oarfish, growing as long as 8 meters. Number 7. Giant Pacific octopus. The name here speaks for this creature. It's one huge octopus that rivals humans in size. In fact, it doesn't really rival. It beats the average human in size by far. The largest recorded sample was about 9 meters across and weighed a whopping 270 kilograms. That's on the higher side, though. On average, most giant octopuses can grow to a maximum stretch of 5 meters and weigh in at 50 kilograms. That is way more than the regular-sized octopus you know of. But generally, size is the only difference here. Just like their similar counterparts, giant Pacific octopuses have a rather short lifespan of up to 4 years. They're also big fans of using camouflage to escape predators. Using special cells out of their skin, they can easily mimic the appearance of their surroundings, no matter how complicated it appears. Number 6. Giant Manta Ray. This is the biggest ray species in the world, with some adults averaging a wingspan of 9 meters and weighing in at about 3 tons on the extreme. But in typical adults, the wingspan rests at 4.5 meters. Just like the whale shark, manta rays are also filter feeders, getting their fill by keeping their mouths open as they swim around. Their menu consists of krill and zooplankton. In case any of these is abundant in a given stretch of the seas, the giant rays have been observed somersaulting, which keeps them in the same spot for some time as they feast to their satisfaction. Although they live solo most of the time, it's not uncommon to find them congregating, especially during feeding. These big rays are threatened by overfishing, especially for their meat and grill plates that are especially revered by the Chinese as a medicinal value. Considering that they give birth occasionally, this paints a gloomy picture for the future of these remarkable big guys. Number 5. Great white shark. Among predatory fish, there is only one ruler, the great white shark. It's by far the biggest and probably the most powerful predator any aquatic animal can encounter. Generally, female white sharks are larger than their male counterparts, averaging 5 meters in length and over a ton in weight. Males, on the other hand, are about 4 meters long and weigh in at 700 kilograms. That said, it's not unusual to find great white sharks that are outside of these limits. For instance, there's recorded sightings of sharks over 6 meters long and over 2 tons in weight. Of course, with that big size, the great whites have no natural predator out of these waters. As already mentioned, they are the rulers. They feed on the likes of seabirds, mollusks, and even other sharks. Bigger white sharks have been observed going after orcas, sea lions, and seals. As predators, they depend on their acute sense of smell to detect prey, after which they swim towards it, propelled by their powerful tails. Once they catch up, they attack with their 300 serrated triangular teeth. Number 4. Lion's mane jellyfish. Prominent about a lion's mane jellyfish is the numerous tentacles from which it's named. A typical lion's mane jellyfish can have between 500 and 1,200 tentacles. This is the largest known species of jellyfish, with a typical specimen having a bell diameter of over 2 meters and tentacles as long as 15 meters. But there are outliers. The largest lion's mane jellyfish to be recorded was observed way back in 1865 by an American scientist named Alexander Agassiz. The jellyfish had tentacles that extended to 34 meters, making it the longest animal to ever live, above the blue whale that averages 30 meters in length. Except for the outstanding size, the lion's mane jellyfish isn't different from your regular-sized jellyfish. So they also use their super long tentacles as hunting apparatuses, using them to capture and pull prey such as fish and even smaller jellyfish. They also use the tentacles as a defense mechanism by delivering painful stings to any perceived aggressor, including humans. And just like most jellyfish species, they aren't venomous. An encounter with one will only leave you a short-lived spurt of pain. A more serious case will be an allergic reaction. Number 3. Fin whale. Of course, a list of biggest sea animals must feature the fin whale, the second largest animal on Earth after the blue whale. Most of them average between 18 and 20 meters long and weigh in at 48 tons. But there have been recorded specimens way above these figures. For instance, the largest can grow to as much as 27 meters and weigh at 74 tons. Even as young ones, fin whales dwarf so many animals in and outside the sea. A typical young whale is usually over 6 meters long and weighs approximately 2 tons. But this size isn't the only interesting quality of these sea giants. They're also among the fastest aquatic mammals, averaging speed of over 40 kilometers per hour. This, combined with their slender bodies, has earned their nickname Greyhounds of the Sea. They use these speeds to herd schools of fish into one huge ball before gulping them down. They've been observed as being social beings, with a typical fin whale group having 6 to 10 members. But during feeding, group numbers can increase several times over, sometimes stretching all the way to 100 individuals. Now it's time for today's best pick. Today's photo was sent in by a subscriber, so if you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it in a future video. Number 2. Colossal squid. It's clear where this image was captured, but there are numerous reports of such big squids getting washed ashore. There are at least 2 types of such gigantic squids, by the way. It could be either the colossal squid or the giant squid. But since the colossal squid is bigger than the other counterpart, we're going to pay attention to that. So far, it's the largest squid by mass to be ever recorded, with a determined maximum weight of 495 kilograms. But according to remains found in sperm whale stomachs, this squid can weigh as much as 700 kilograms, making them the largest invertebrate ever. The length on the other side has been placed at about 15 meters. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works. Number 1. Blue whale. Finally, the biggest of them all is the blue whale. This massive mammal doesn't just top the size charts among sea animals. It is by far the largest animal to have ever existed. Most blue whales average 30 meters in length and can weigh well over 170 tons. To get an idea of just how big they are, we can compare them to the land's biggest animal, which is the African elephant. Most elephants weigh about 4 tons, which means we'll need over 40 of them to balance a single blue whale. And if we were to use a single elephant, then we will have to compare it to a whale's tongue, which is about the same weight. That's how massive these beasts are. We just hope that these magnificent beasts make a good enough bounce back. It'll be sad for future generations to only hear about the biggest animal to ever live.